is Josh Hansen, and this is my introduction video for EDL 856, School Community Relations, Module 1. To begin, I want to tell you a little story about finding my why. So in my short teaching career, I've had several people that have approached me and said, why did you go into teaching? Or what is it about teaching that makes you want that to be your career? And the answer has always been really simple for me. I had amazing teachers and coaches that supported me and provided me with a enjoyable experience as a student and as an athlete, and I wanted to make that impact and that difference on young people's lives the way that these teachers and coaches did in mine. And one teacher specifically that's always stood out was my third grade teacher. As a third grade student, I broke my femur in my right leg playing football, and as a result I spent 3 weeks in the hospital and followed the hospital with several doctor's appointments and meetings with physical therapists as I trained my body how to walk properly again. And throughout that entire time, I had a teacher that went out of her way and would come to the hospital 2 or 3 nights a week and provide me with short mini lessons on what we were covering in class, and did her best to make sure that I stayed on track and on pace to move on to the next grade level with my classmates and friends. She would meet with my physical therapist and ensure that she was using the same language and understood what I was supposed to be doing, so that she could monitor me while I was at school. And so at a young age, I knew that I wanted to be a part of education, and that third grade teacher is really what drives my passion. Is I want to make the same impact on kids' lives the way that my third grade teacher made a difference in my own life. So to tell you a little more about myself, I graduated from Mulvane High School in 2010. The reason I include that in my presentation today is because I'm one of those students that attended a district K through 12, left for college, and then came back and is now teaching in the same district that they were a student. So upon graduating high school, I went to Pittsburgh State University, where I graduated with my degree in elementary education, certifying me in grades K through 6. After graduating at Pitt, I went on to teach at Highland Elementary for the remainder of the school year there. I was a third grade teacher in all subject areas. I really enjoyed my time with Highland. It taught me the responsibilities and duties of a teacher, but ultimately wanted to move a little bit closer to home. So I accepted a position at Mulvane Grade School, teaching 5th grade math, science, and social studies. This is my 6th year in Mulvane. I also coach. I'm a head boys and girls middle school basketball coach, as well as a high school assistant cross-country coach. I have been married for 2 years this summer to my wife, Michaela. She works in the aircraft industry, and we have one daughter together. Her name is Maddox, and she is 6 months old today. So next, getting into our assignment a little bit more, the ways that I reach out to stakeholders, first would be digitally. In Mulvane, the elementary schools K through 5 use an app that is called Classroom Dojo. On Class Dojo, we're able to create kind of a class page, a class story, where we can share posts, pictures, updates, reminders, and it's a really cool app that also tracks positive and negative behaviors of students. So it's the primary form of communication out of my classroom. Next, I included email. Each district employee has an email attached to them, and as well as the students. And then lastly, with the digital form, I included Facebook and Twitter. Our secretaries and administrators have pages for each building, as well as the district Facebook and Twitter page. But the teachers do not have access to those sites. It's blocked during the day. So that's one piece that I Wish was not blocked because I've seen a lot of cool things that teachers use with those two sites. Those are two forms that I wish I could have a little more say in. Second, I included the written form. In our elementary buildings, we have an agenda that our students fill out daily and get signed by parents. We send out monthly newsletters that kind of inform parents of important events, dates that are coming, as well as updates on where we're at in our curriculum, what lessons are being taught in our social emotional learning curriculum throughout the building. And then any additional information is sent out through paper copies with the students. And then the last form that I included was the oral or in-person. Those are done through phone calls, conferences, meetings. And then, like I've mentioned, I teach in a smaller community, so if you're out in public, there's a pretty good chance you'll run into someone and they'll have questions about either what's happening in your classroom or around the district. Other ways I've included that my district reaches out to stakeholders include our district board meetings, our site council meetings. Our district website includes a bulletin and school calendar that has a lot of information for stakeholders. We also send out online surveys through Google Forms to staff and community members. We have a student journalism classes at the middle school and high school level. Cat Tracks is a newspaper, and KCAT is like a YouTube page that the students produce, and then the community events that are happening in the school district and in the community. I also included our local newspaper. Being a smaller community, we are able to include important information, dates in the newspaper, and get that out to people that way. Next, reflecting on the 3 articles, as I reflect on the introductions in my professional life, the first thing I noted was that introductions matter, and that seems like a pretty obvious thing, but simple things like tone, respect, trust, approachability, and power are all established there in those first moments of meeting people. So I need to do a better job of making a memorable impression and making sure that people are learning what I want them to learn about me in those introductions. The second piece I included was that the engine in decision making is emotion. I thought this was an important piece in our reading because it's important to get to know individuals and seek out those common interests. When we highlight our passions, we're able to make more personal connections, and that's an important piece in our professional lives. And lastly, I included to do the reflective work. And one of the articles mentioned, what do you want people to know about you? To practice these introductions and to identify strengths and important characteristics or qualities about yourself that you want people to know and you want people to remember. So those were a few pieces that I noted for my professional life. Next, in our assignment, it asked us to talk about introductions as a new leader. I thought it was important to go beyond our title and resist those same introductions of, hi, my name's Josh, I'm a 5th grade teacher, I've been in the district for 6 years. And so in this video, I attempted to tell a story. When stories are told, we're able to kind of engage our listener a little more. So that's one piece that I want to be able to do when I become a leader. I want to be able to provide a little bit better introduction than I have in the past. Next, I included vision and purpose. So I think it's important that new leader is able to communicate with emotion and enthusiasm and confidence, and also be a problem solver. So within their vision, understanding that what we contribute as a leader is attached to our values. So vision and purpose were the next piece that I thought were important as a new leader. And then lastly, I included building connections. Like I mentioned in the last slide, it's so important for new leaders to create that positive culture and atmosphere. So we need to work to build positive connections and seek out common interest and passions so that you have that kind of positive rapport with everyone in your building. Next, I have the USD 263 communication policies. So there's no real set policy on how teachers should communicate. Building leaders do provide guidelines at the start of each school year, and we address things throughout the year at our late start meetings on Wednesdays. But for the most part, our building leaders allow our teachers to use discretion in how they handle different situations. They do ask that we're clear and consistent, and that we always remain professional, and that we always protect student confidentiality. So, lastly, I just want to say thank you, and I look forward to working with all of you. So thank you again for watching, and have a great day.